Good morning, good morning, good morning. I promised you we'd be back up here. Here we are at the scene of the crime. The crime being last Thursday's stream. I told you, because I'll be going to Canada in February, I'm out for 2 weeks. So before I leave, I have to prepare all the work and the jobs for all the printers in the building. So from here on until February 7th when I'm out, a lot of these streams are going to be soup streams. Not all of them. I won't be here every single stream. But there's going to be a lot of sizing over the next 3 weeks so that I can get it all teed up for everybody. And that's what we're doing here again today. And it's the same paper. This is the Murata paper. And this is for the it's for the second batch of paper for the February print, the one you haven't seen yet. It's still testing, so I'm not going to get too close and dirty with it. But it's a good fun print. It's a simple little print, but it's a good fun one. Thursday, yeah, that was quite something. That was quite something. It's funny, in the news, I'm waiting till it's warming up still. I got a couple minutes more. It's got to warm up a bit. Actually, I had it warm. It was all warmed up about 15, 20 minutes ago, ready to go. I've had the hot carpet on for a couple of hours. The soup is already warm. Everything was ready to go. And in about 15 minutes, I realized I haven't got the paper out. I look on the fridge here, and there's a yellow dot for Ishikawa-san, and I hadn't taken the paper out. And I'm like, oh my God, any minute now she's going to come up the stairs. So I took her paper out and quietly stuck it under here, her frozen deck of paper. I put it under here for a few minutes, 5-10 minutes. So just now, just before starting the stream, I took it out and put it on her desk. It's going to be soft for her, but now this thing has gone cold. So just give me a couple of minutes while this heats up. I warmed her paper. Yeah, I got to put a qualification there too. This is dangerous, and we've learned this over experience. I can't give you names and dates and serial numbers, whatever. But we've learned this. If Dave forgets the paper to bring it out, and there it is, a printer arrives, and the printer gets here, and it's winter maybe, and they've got a gas heater over there, and we've had this experience. They put the paper package on the floor in front of the gas heater, which is really spewing out a whole lot of heat. 5, 10, 15 minutes, flip it over. The package has been opened, and we've seen already mold spots growing on the hot sheets on top. That's how quickly paper can go moldy if you make it moist and directly heat it up like this. So this is dangerous, absolutely dangerous. I put it over here. This is a gentle heat just for 5 minutes. If I remember to get the paper out, I rob us of the opportunity to remind you. Well, you can remind me anyway. That's always, that's always okay. You can remind me about paper anytime. Anyway, there we have it. Okay, so what we're doing today is more paper for Murata-san. Murata-san's paper for the subscription series for this year. To report on Thursday's chaos, I did all that packaging once the stream was off on Thursday. I did finish up the packaging. And I've already been asked once this morning in the pre-chat, what did I do about the funny-sized box, the very first box. And of course I opened it and repacked it, straightened all the kozo and put it in. So we sent to Murata-san Thursday afternoon 3 long, thin boxes full of fiber. It was 7 kilograms something, 7 kilograms something, 5 point something. It amounted to exactly. And I put in 1 or 2 just at the end, trimmed them off, and she has exactly 20,000 grams, 20 kilograms. I'm hoping that if she decides to make the paper in 2 batches, I'm hoping she will do the weight. She may not do that. She's not anywhere near as concerned as I am about all this data. She wants to be a pro, and for a pro, measuring is not the way they do it. And I think you can be a pro and you can still measure, but that's not her. That's not the way she's going to do it. So if she does decide to do it in 2 batches, it'll be 9 point something and 10 point something. I will just collect all the data, and at the end of the 2 batches, when I've got all the paper, I know that she only had 20 kilograms of fiber. So whether she does it in 1 or 2, I will still get my ultimate data. Someone says, I knew the first box would get redone. I knew it. Hey, if I'm predictable, that's fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I mean, after all these streams now, how many years have we been doing this? We started streaming. The first streams went in August 2017. So if you don't know my character by now, then you haven't been watching. So. Speaking of character, this is funny. In the news this morning and yesterday, can I talk about this? I guess it's okay, I can talk about this. In the news the last couple of days, there's been news about that character we all love and hate, Mr. Musk. There's been news about him and his gaming and stuff like this. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know the way this conversation is going to go. And I saw this news the past few days about a man who is so stupendously rich, it's beyond belief and beyond counting. More wealth than like all the rest of us combined. And yet this man is so, what's the word to use? He cheats, you know, he cheats at the video gaming. It's incredible, and he expects us to believe all that stuff. And Dave here, I also think I'm super smart. I'm so proud myself of how smart I am. It's part of my self-image. It's part of who I am. And yet, I was willing on Thursday to stand there and like try to figure things out and make mistakes. Karen saved my life here twice during that stream. You know, I was going to do strange things cutting that box that didn't need to get done, and then I made a mistake partway along doing it. Whatever. I don't know. I think it's a kind of, what's the word? Okay, to make an analogy, think about money. I'm still delaying here when this warms up. To think about money, if you get a bank account with money in it. So if there's X in your bank account, then when you're going out for lunch, you're thinking, can I spend that much on lunch? Well, okay, I've got that much in my bank account. If it's barely enough, you have to think about what you can afford for lunch. So you're thinking about this, I can't do that, I can't do that. But if your bank account is flush enough that when you go for lunch, you can spend 10 bucks or 15 bucks, it doesn't matter. So you've got enough that you don't have to worry about a certain expense. Okay, I don't have enough that I can worry, can I buy a car today or not? That's a different story. The point being, if there's enough in your account that's more than the thing you're dealing with, then you don't have to worry about it. Now, Dave's money account, whatever, I'm not talking about money at the moment, I'm talking about the smarts account, the confidence account, who you are as a personality. And Dave, at my age now, I know who I am, and I'm happy enough with who I am, that there's enough in my confidence account. Can I say that? Does it make any sense? There's enough in my confidence account, because I've done so many cool things, my account has built up enough that I can stand there on Thursday stream and, wait a minute, how do I cut this box? Just a minute. And people are thinking, come on, you can figure this out. You're so stupid, you can't figure this out. It doesn't matter anymore, because there's enough in my confidence account that even if I screw up like I did on Thursday, it's okay. There's enough left in there that I can still speak to you and laugh at you and stuff like that. I don't know. But Karen saved my life. Oh, Anthony, thank you very much, ma'am. Saved my life is a bit of an exaggeration. John's got another. Once we reach a certain age, we care a lot less about experiences. Well, I think the reason for that is the thing that I said. I mean, John's right. And we have, there's a thing here in Japan called obatarian. Older ladies, maybe they're 50, 60, 70 or something. They don't give a shit about what's going on because they don't care. And I wonder if that's perhaps the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we're talking about the same thing or it's different things. I don't know. So, in Dave's case, I clearly, in my self-analysis here, I really think that's it. It's a confidence account. It's speaking. I took hot stuff out of it. If I mentioned to report on that, the Kozo fiber that we sent, Murata-san received it all safely the next afternoon. This is a cool thing about Japan, you know. She's on the other side of the country. If we drove up there, it would take about 6 or 7 hours. I packed those boxes you saw. I repacked one of them in the afternoon. The girls slapped labels on. The Takubin guy came to the door and picked them up. And Murata-san had it the next day around noon. She sent an email, got the fiber, thank you very much. This is such a cool country, you know. Well, it doesn't just happen. Everybody works hard to make it happen, but okay, can we see? Are we all set? There's the glue, there's the strip. I think we got a good view today. Streams bring happy stuff. I don't know. Okay, let's do this thing. Now the first few strokes are difficult because the brush, because it's been hard, I've had to soak it and soften it and soak it and soften it. Always it seems to have too much liquid for the first few strokes. I knock off a couple. I frequently put too much liquid on for the first stroke. So that's faster than we would normally do this. Maybe I went a bit too fast. We'll see, we'll see. The first couple of strokes are tough. Okay, we have 20 sheets of large size paper chopped in half. So we have 40 individual sheets. So it's going to be 80 strokes. 40 on the front, 40 on the back. If I have counted correctly. It turns out the other day I thought I had 15 to 30 and I had 16 to 32. No tragedy. There's something black floating in the liquid. Well, there's little tiny bits of kozo. The brush picks up from the end here. When I brush the brush across, it picks up little bits of kozo sometimes from the end here. Get the dead cubby scoop here. It doesn't want to float. Come on, float. It doesn't want to be caught. Got it. Where am I? Did this one get done? No. it's still there. It's not still there. There's little bits of loose. No, the brown lump came out, but there are little bits of loose fiber floating. Please. Yeah, it's like the like somebody's mentioning the Japanese festival, sakana sukui. You get a paper scoop and you're supposed to scoop up goldfish, put them in a plastic bag and take them home where they die. Get hassled about this, so let's get this out. Got to give the peanut gallery something to cheer for. Okay, are we okay? Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. After I read the chat on Thursday afternoon, after I finished sending off those boxes, it was later in the evening, I guess at dinner time, I had to look through the chat. You know, I get a copy of the chat sent to me through a bot. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to look at it, but anyway, I did. I looked through the chat, and at one point, we were doing that box fiasco. Dave was confused about how to cut it, whatever. KP, Vivid Sound, was yelling at the top of her voice about do this, do this. So I went back and I rewatched part of the chat there. About that. And Dave's standing there trying to figure out what to do with the box, you know. I couldn't help laughing. Well, whatever. It's another crime. Okay, I don't remember if I updated you on the schedule thing. I was supposed to be printing this week. I think a week ago or so I told you that for the second print in this year's subscription series, because we're shorter printers, we were going to follow the same pattern. I myself would do a first quick couple of batches, 100 or so, and then again 100 or so, and the blocks would then be passed over to Kubota-san. That's what we did for the first print, for the takeoff print. Kubota-san's doing it right now. So we did this. I got paper ready. You watched me size it. I think I must have told you, this is the paper. This is a week or so ago. I must have told you, this is the paper from my first batch of the February print, and we'll follow the same pattern. I'll do the first couple of batches. We'll pass over to Kubota-san. Now, I had said that and made that decision based on the schedule on our printer's calendar. I had given Kubota-san, it was last, I don't even remember. I told you, I went over to his house and took him the paper and the blocks, and we chatted about the print and stuff like this. So that was the plan. But what happened about 3 days later, about 3 days after that, I got an email from Kubota-san. He always does this. He sends me an email as soon as he's figured out the target finishing time for a job. Like once we give him a job, he starts printing, and he can then look at the print and look at the blocks and look at the paper. And he can then basically figure out when he'll be finished. And as soon as he can get a good target date for it, a week or so in advance, he sends me an email saying, please get the next job ready for Monday or whatever day it is. And I had assumed, and he had looked at the blocks and said it was going to take 2 weeks to do that rocket ship. He's doing 200 copies of it. But a couple of days after giving it to them, he sent an email. Boom, and he dragged forward 4 days. It's not going to take him 2 weeks. It's going to take him 4 days less than that. Because from his point of view, that takeoff print is so easy, he can finish it 4 days earlier than he had planned. And because of that, there's enough time window for him to do this second print, the first 2 batches together. So that's the long story. I'm sorry. I've been taken off the printing for the second print because Kubota-san is so efficient at the first one, he's going to chew it up and chew it up right away. So what I've done is the last 2 days, I got out of here. I went over to our little, we have a WeWork type office nearby here where Dave gets out of the building, turns off his Wi-Fi, and gets busy with other work. And I've spent the last 2 days on video editing. I don't have a date for it right now, but Adventures in Washi Part 2, the video, is now timelined, it's scripted, it's all ready, and it's coming to a YouTube channel near you soon. This is thanks to Kubota Power. Any chance of being able to see Kubota-san at work? There are a couple of videos on our channel showing him at work. Some years back when we were doing some of the test printing on a couple of the Ukiyo-e Heroes prints, he let me bring a camera over and show him at work. But he had one qualification. At that time, he was still working for Adachi, and you're not allowed to moonlight. So he said, don't show my face. Let's get this link here. Just give me a sec. I'll switch over to my browser. One sec. Social, Dave Will YouTube channel. I'll get you a link. We're going back in time here. 5 years. Six years. How far back do we have to go? Just a sec. I think this is it. 6 years ago. One sec. Yes, here we are. Okay, let me give you a link. This is Kubota-san at work. Boom. No face, but this is Kubota-san doing test printing for us. It's not production run printing, but it's test printing. And it's really cool because we get to see him mix the colors. And I'm thinking about how to do it again. He has just moved. Actually, he's in the process of moving now. He'll be moving in a couple of weeks to a new workroom. And I was hopeful that the workroom would be wider and there'd be room to sit next to him and take some more video. And he said, no, this next new room is smaller. He actually steps in through the door onto his mat. There is no room for another human being to sit next to him. So I was thinking about this to do video. Get a little Nanishitsunai drone, a little drone that spins and flies around the room to watch the guy. I don't really think that's practical. No, he doesn't want us there anyway. Of course, somebody's got that. He doesn't want to do those things. He just wants to work by himself, quietly, peacefully, with no bother. Last time we talked about this, somebody had an idea that actually would be probably the only way forward to do this. What I need to do is get a little collection of small cameras. Get a GoPro, another GoPro, something like this. Get a good battery, put them in, put a little stand, tape it to the wall, point them at his bench, start. Okay, Kubota-san, see you in a couple of hours. He can do the printing, and then we come back, collect all the cameras, and make a video out of it. I mean, let him know. I mean, I'm not drill holes in his walls and stuff. And that might be a good way to do this. You know, brief him on what we're doing. Okay, that's the first batch. That must be 20. Here we go. Yes. Here's the next 20. That would be nerve-wracking having multiple cameras on you directly while working. Doesn't bother some of us. I don't know. There's another video there waiting for me, edit it too. When I did my takeoff print, I told you this, I did some of it live on the Twitch stream, but when I was making my edition batch of the takeoff print, I had a camera facing straight down on the bench, a printer's point of view. I took tons of it. It's waiting for me to edit it and get it out there. And while I was doing it, I wore the binaural microphones. I got to get that video edited. Is it raining outside? No. But there's certain noises you're hearing. Part of it, this thing makes noise. And then, of course, it's all the air conditioners outside on the different nearby buildings. If I go to the back window here, if I open the back window, the sound you're hearing out there is the air units coming from the local rocks. It roars and roars and roars 24 hours a day. Welcome to Rooftop Tokyo. The pitter-patter is this thing. It's on a, trying to maintain a single heat, but it's got a single, the heating element doesn't change its power. It's an on or off on a thermostat. So when it's on, the metal clicks and clicks and clicks as the metal underneath it expands. Then when it turns off, it shrinks down again. So your clicking, clacking, popping noise are from this thing. Someone's asking, the brushes on the wall behind me. These are Mizubake. They are very similar. They are goat hair brushes. It's the same type of structure as this one, but we keep them separate. These are for water, not glue. These are the ones the printers use to moisten their paper for printing. But they are goat hair, very similar. But we don't mix them. We've also, under the cabinet here, we have other brushes for sizing. Some of them less useful than others. Some of them we've tried to make ourselves. Aoyama-san made this one for us. 2 brushes stuck together. Someone says, any ideas for the next YouTube video? The next one will be Adventures in Washi Part 2. It's now scripted and most of the film is in the camera. I have to do my intro. Then there's Blast in the Past, next one, Waiting. Then there's the video of me making the first print from next year's series, this year's series. There's endless video in the can. Oh. It's all about time, resources, time. The current pace, since last August, I've managed to get a video out 1 each month. And that's my target now. To make more than that would be pointless. We're going to try and keep that pace. For the past couple of years, I haven't. But since August, I did that. August, September, October, November, December. 5 videos. Hopefully, I can get the next one ready within this month. Is there going to be a Hokusai series wrap-up? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that. I'm sorry. I know that was the idea. There was going to be a couple more videos in that Hokusai series. But we ran into 2 problems that make it difficult to do that. 3 problems, actually. One was just time. We were all totally stressed with time. The second problem is that we had to change the carvers partway along. The original plan had been me, Asuka-san, and Chon-san. But partway along, Asuka-sensei decided not to want to do the rest of it, and it got sent through to Taran-san, which is a wonderful story for Taran-san, but it wasn't so much of a wonderful story for Asuka-sensei. So we have to be really careful what I talk about and what I say there. Another problem was back at the beginning of that project, visa status for one of our carvers wasn't quite so secure, so we're limited in what we can talk about in public. So for a number of reasons, it became difficult to talk about some of those things. That's why I didn't jump ahead and make more videos. And here we are now, it's all done, it's finished, it's behind us, and let's just move forward. Sometimes plans work out exactly as you plan them, and sometimes they don't. So, is there a limit to the number of pages I'll stack onto each other? That's an interesting question. Today we're doing 40. The other day when I was doing Paper for the Great Wave, we stacked up to 60. Years and years ago, more than 30 years ago, when I visited Misawa-san, the craftsman who was a professional sizer. He does this sizing job for a living. I visited him back in the late 1989 or something. Oh, 8:35, can't be Saruko-san. Oh, it's Ishikawa-san. Did I remember to take her paper out? Yes, yes. Good morning, good morning.
おはようございます。
Your paper is
はいはいはい。
out.
はい。あ、本当。
Come say hello. Before you disappear, come say hello. Streamly wants to see you. Oh, she's disappeared. Don't worry about that. Maybe she'll come back in a minute anyway to get her brush washed and stuff like this. I thought for a moment hearing the stairs it was Sadako, which means it's 9:10, which means I'm in big time trouble. But no, it's only 8:36. We're okay. It doesn't look like we have a VOD channel. We do indeed. We do. All of our past streams are archived on YouTube. All of them. Not through any effort of mine, but I think I was partway through asking a question. I got sidetracked when Nishikawa came upstairs. I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. How high can we stack this? As I said, I know for me we did 60 or so the other day, but when I was watching a professional sizer, he would do a batch of 500. 500 sheets of paper, up, 500. Someone's asking about the bath cover at the pool. The story continues, actually. The last couple of days, no. The cover has been tightly shut. As in tightly. Pulled carefully around the corners, way more tightly than it normally is. It has been pulled down at the corners, and clearly somebody upstairs has heard what's going on. They've sent through a message to those guys, don't mess around. So the bath cover is tight until 8:45. So for me, that's it. Mondays and Thursdays, Dave doesn't get a bath. Wednesdays, Fridays, Tuesdays, I'm okay. If there's leftover today, actually, this will be the last of the group. I'm using today glue that I mixed a few days ago, and that has been in the fridge, not freezer, it's been in the fridge. But today I'm going to do this batch here this morning, and we will be doing another batch. Ayumi-san is doing sizing later this afternoon for a test print she's working on with Taran-san. I don't know what Taran-san has published. On Taran-san's Instagram or something, he may already have got a video about this. But he's been working on another different project for us. I talked about it in the year-end video, the Kamakura video, the Kamakura print. And that's test printing this next week. So Ayumi-san and Taran, they are going to do some sizing here this afternoon for the paper for the Kamakura print. And that will use a bit more of this, and then there won't be enough left to store, and it will be tossed out. And I will be making more glue tonight. Another batch of sizing that I have to do on Sunday. It's sizing city here this next couple of weeks. Okay, we are halfway. It's 8:40. Are we going to have a show and tell? Prints are standing by. When somebody says Monday and Thursday you could start later, if you know me, you'll know I'll say no. No. I'm not going to ask all these people to wait while I have a bath. That's not the way Dave would roll. Here she comes. Okay, we flipped. We're now on stage 2. We're going to do the back side. For those of you who don't know what's going on, we're now going to do the back side of the paper. We have put glue on the front surface of 40 pieces. And I'm now going to slide them out one by one. This is face down. We flipped it. This was the first sheet we did. And the stack has been flipped. And now we do the back side, the same thing. It should need a little bit less fluid because the paper now is quite damp. It doesn't feel wet. That was a bit too much fluid. It takes a few minutes for me to figure this out. Too much liquid there. And there. Start the stream from the bath. Yeah, right. This is tricky, how much liquid to put in the brush, how hard to press, and how quickly to move it. It's a difficult balance to get just enough moisture that fills the paper but doesn't pool up. Any standing water is no good. gonna come and say hello?
はい。
She took out the garbage, I guess. Ishikawa-san, star printer
お
Ishikawa-san.
はようござい
Hi.
ます。
What are you working on?
え、
What are you working on? It's still,
はい。テスト3回目。
what's it called? I forget.
Maizuru.
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 The print that we showed the other day when I was printing over there and she was behind me, we showed the harbor moon in the sky.
そうね。
Coming along well. It's complicated. 本当に it's complicated.
そうね。
And the biggest difficulty with this thing is that there's no definite answer. You never get to a point where, there it is, it's now finished. There's always more, always something else to be changed. No, really, it's infinite. There's infinite variation. And when you think of, okay, let's make the sky a bit darker for this, it changes the balance somewhere else. So we've looked at it, and maybe again today, I don't know, or today or tomorrow, we'll be saying, okay, that's it, cut, print, because there's no more we can do. Vivid's got it, no kidding, always another tweak. And the more blocks there are, the more layers there are, never finishes. So this month's print, the print we're making for this year's subscription series, this is ukiyo-e, and it's much, much simpler. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. They're mostly flat. You just have to make it look nice. There's no depth and complexity. But the one she's making, it's dramatically different. The one Taran-san will be working on with Aimi-san over the next week. It's in between the two. That Kamakura print, it's Shinhanga, but it's early Shinhanga, and they hadn't learned to do very much layering yet. In a few minutes, when it comes time to shift location to the next room, remind me before I take the camera down to change the camera angle and take a look upstairs here. I also went back into my paperwork, into my accounting back in 2017, to look up information on the kozo fiber. You know, the fiber we packed for Murata-san the other day. I had been telling you, we bought 70 kilograms, you know, but I don't remember how much I paid for it. So yesterday I went back into my bookkeeping to 2017 December and 2018 January, February. And it turns out that it wasn't 70 kilograms of fiber up here. They had sent 3 bundles of 25 kilograms each. So we have actually 75 kilograms up here. And we have now sent, excuse me, we have now sent 30 of it out. Goes up with the lunch break. It's an hour for lunch. People get an hour, of course. A normal work day is you're in the building 8 hours and 1 hour is for lunch. That's the standard employment contract. Not every company works exactly the same way. If you're a train driver or something, it's different. But a typical office employee, it's like 9 to 5 with 12 to 1 is lunchtime. Or some of our employees are on different contracts. So Naomi-san chose to do 4 days, a bit longer. So she's on a 4-day system, and she comes 9 to 6 with 1 hour lunch. So different employees have different contracts. But a typical day, a typical one, is you're in the building 8 hours, and 1 hour is your lunch break. If someone's asking about that Kozo fiber, I did check on our cost for that, but that's not a number that I can use going forward. I paid too much for this fiber here. I got a little bit taken to the cleaners. We're a newbie in this field. We were a little bit desperate. We were trying to buy some fiber because that year there had been a bad, the year before, there had been a bad harvest, and we were trying to store some fiber. So absolutely I paid too much for that stuff. I was a newbie. So that cost of that fiber can't be used to make a sensible calculation of what our paper is costing us, because it's a non-repeatable, non-standard event. Did the original fiber weigh more with more moisture inside? Okay, that's an open question, because of course, how much does, I don't know, when you've got a piece of paper or something, how much does it weigh? You can take your paper and you could put it on a weigh scale and weigh it. But if the air is dry today, if the humidity is 35, or if the humidity is 60, there's more moisture caught inside that paper, and it's going to weigh more. So values for how much does that paper weigh are always, the values are gray, they're fuzzy, because they depend on the environment. Did I do the last one? No, I didn't do the last one. Look at this, look at this, look at this. I took time to blow my nose. Hang on. Someone says, how are we doing about ordering more? There's now a different route for ordering, and this is actually in process, ready now for next year. Murata-san, as part of opening her new workshop, she has joined the Papermakers Guild, the Kumiai, in her town. And as such, all her supply orders for her fiber and stuff will be done through the union, the guild. I'm not sure the best way to translate it. Kumiai, it's sort of a union, cooperative association. This doesn't fit a single English word. But yes, her little new papermaking workshop is a member of the cooperative association down there. And they do their buying in bulk. So she will be ordering, or she has ordered now, a bunch more fiber for the paper she will be making next year. She's ordered fiber through them. And you ask me now, am I going to buy more fiber through the back or just depend on her? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think guild is the proper translation for that. I don't know. In the case of where Murata-san is, the Washi Kyodo Kumiai, it's nothing to do with a guild in the sense of training apprentices and establishing standards for the work. It's a business thing. They buy their fiber together, they cooperate on pricing, how to send it out to the wholesalers. And that's not a guild, that's a cooperative association. The Tokyo Koge Mokuhankan Kumiai, that's a little bit more of a guild. They're sharing work among themselves. You get this job, you get that job, we'll give this job to you. There's no single English word that covers the different aspects of this. the Japanese agriculture, selling rice and stuff. It all works through the, what's it called? Zenkoku, what's it called? Zenkoku no Kyo Kyodo Kumiai. I forget the full name of it. And that's a massive countrywide association of associations of farmers. There's no way you would use the word guild for that. Setting rice prices. There's a thing that we used to buy our groceries from called a seikyo. And it was like a grocery store, but owned by the people who bought the groceries. You know, we were owners. We bought shares in it. What was that called? Seikatsu Kyodo Kumiai. So we were housewives and homeowners. Join the thing, you pay into the shares, you get the catalog, and you order your goods, and the rice and meat and vegetables are delivered to your door a week later. And that's also a kumiai. That really helped me when it came time for the down payment on my house. We had been living in Hamaramachi for 15 years. We had been in the Seikyo. We had bought shares in them when we first moved to Japan in 1986, some trivial amount. And then we had checked off the box that said, along with our weekly grocery order, add 1,000 yen or something for extra shares. So we had bought 1,000 yen worth of shares, or 2,000 yen, whatever the number was, I don't even remember. Every month with our bill, 2,000 yen or something went into shareholding. And we didn't even sort of really notice it. So 15 years go by, Dave is finally moving out to a different city, and the cooperative association didn't operate in the new city, Ome, where I was buying a house. So I wasn't really trying to cash out, but I had to tell them, look, we're moving, we're getting out of here, you know. So they gave me the paperwork, and it turns out I am cashing out my shares. And that provided a big chunk of the down payment for me to buy my house. I'd been buying a few extra shares every month for 15 years. Without really understanding or realizing what was all happening. That was a really, 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 really good deal. I got something like 3 million yen out of that. It was crazy. At the time, it really, really, really helped buy my house, you know. And just because we had checked off that little box without noticing it or thinking about it, you know. And for sure at the beginning, because we were so broke when we first came to Japan, I wouldn't have checked that box. What are you kidding? We can't afford to pay money like that. So if it had been well explained to me, I wouldn't have checked it. Too much, too much, too much, too much. Haven't discovered any loose hairs in this group. If I hadn't sold the shares in the co-op, I don't know, I have no idea. No idea. It was a moot point. I was unable to stay because we were moving out. I was probably no longer eligible to hold those shares. You would have had to be a resident in the area, I guess, and a customer, you know. No hair in here so far, but this is not Iwano paper, this is Murata paper. Are there co-ops in Ome? There was probably another co-op there, but by this time I wasn't going to start up the same thing. We had started joining that original co-op because we were a family. I was living with my then wife and 2 kids. So we joined that grocery co-op out of common sense. We ordered each week. We ordered food, and et cetera, et cetera. It was a common thing to do. We took part in co-op activities and stuff like that. 15 years later, by the time I was moving, my family was gone. I was divorced, my kids were gone. I was by myself. I was ordering next to nothing from that catalog each week. So it was time for me to wrap it up anyway. And then when I moved to Ome to join a new co-op and start all over again, it made no sense. So it was fine. It was something that ran its course, that made sense for us to be part of, and was a good deal. But it was time to wrap it up. Even if I hadn't moved to Ome, it would have been sensible to wrap it up. I wasn't using it anymore. Drip. I keep dripping from the back of the brush here. Dave, watch out. Was the Iwano paper thrown in the garbage? No, it's sitting there wrapped up in plastic. I'm going to talk to him when I go up there in the spring. I will be chatting with the family about this. And I guess they will say, okay, we should take it back. I imagine that's what they will offer. I'm of 2 minds about that because they will probably just sell it to somebody else. I don't know. No, we're confusing two things here. Iwano-san's paper, of course, is wonderful. We're still using it. We have thousands of sheets here in stock. That particular batch was an irregular affair. What's our time? 9:05. We should be hearing footsteps on the stairs in about 5 minutes from now as Sadako arrives. And we're still not finished here. It looks like show and tell is probably not going to happen. It's going to be 9:10, 9:15 before I get next door, hang it all up. So I'm sorry if it's been a bit of a tease. I don't think we're going to have time to show prints today either. Excuse me. It's been really kind of chaos the last couple of months, hasn't it? Those days when I sat at my carving bench and we opened a package of interesting prints every stream. My apologies. We'll get to it. We'll get back to it. Well, also too, speaking about that, opening packages that we got from auctions and stuff. We got an email from Yahoo Auction the other day saying, just a little reminder about the email we sent you a few months ago, please get ready for the new security system. And I'm like, what security system? Did I see this email? So I look into it, follow the links, and we're in for some fun. Yahoo Auctions is upping their security. They are forcing two-factor on all people. And to make every bid, according to the documentation, every time you bid, there's going to be, you either have to do a biometric thing, you know, you're on face, camera, whatever, with your phone. If you've established a biometric thing, you try and bid, look at the camera, click, it allows you to bid. If you don't have this, it's two-factor. It's a message, a 6-digit code sent to your SMS to allow you to bid on anything on Yahoo Auctions. This is starting actually next week. And we looked at this email, we looked at this information, so I clicked through to, there's an FAQ on it. And one of the FAQs says, what if I don't have a smartphone? The answer is, in order to participate in Yahoo Auctions, you need a smartphone. There is no desktop option anymore. The only desktop option is have a message sent to your phone, you type in the code. So Dave is sitting here. You know, as I get older, these things get closer. These things get closer. I don't have a phone. I don't want a phone. So that when I go to restaurants, and sometimes there it is, there's the code on the table, and I tell the lady, sorry, I don't have a phone. You got a paper menu or what? And these episodes are now growing and growing and growing. It's no good me yelling at Yahoo saying, that's it, you've lost my business. If there's no phone, you've lost my business. They could care less. They could care less. So what Nabe-san is looking into the documentation, I think what will happen is this. Our little flip phone, you've seen me, our little black flip phone, it does get messages if they come to Yahoo email, because our phone service provider also is Yahoo. So it looks like what we'll be able to do is Dave sits at his computer, finds something he wants to bid on from Mokuhankan, tries to bid, and it will say, we have sent a message to your company's phone number. And I think that's how it's going to work. I then have to sit there with the phone at my side, the company black flip phone. The number will display on that screen. I type it in, make my bid. Meanwhile, the whole platform is full of scams and rip-offs anyway, but we don't have to worry about that, do we? Well, someone says it should cut down on the scams and rip-offs. No, it's the dealers that are scamming. It doesn't change things at all. There's the sound of the door, as predicted. Good morning.
Good morning.
They were predicting your arrival a few minutes ago. Everybody was predicting your arrival. Here we go. How do we do this? We have to stand side by side, right? Just, we have the same joke every Saturday. So, how are you doing? How was the train? Crowded? I mean, you're here, so there was no train problem.
No train. No problem.
I mean, if there had been a problem, you wouldn't be here. So, yep.
Potato salad.
Potato salad today. Isn't it homemade?
Homemade.
Too much, too much, too much. Okay, we're almost done. There's a few sheets left, then we got to go next room to 3 sheets left. Okay, thank you. How do we say potato salad in Japanese? Well, actually, potato salada. Potato, I guess so, potato salada. It's not a Japanese dish, so there's no specific local name for it. Potato are imo, or jagaimo. So you could sort of transliterate it. There's no word for salad in the native language. Jagaimo sarada makes no sense. When you get one from 7-Eleven, it probably says on the package, potato sarada, probably. And it's not unusual at all for Western influenced dishes in Japan to have the Western name, of course. The famous 7-Eleven sandwich, of course, it's called egg sando or tamago sando. Okay, here we go. This is the last sheet. We are done with this part of it. That can sit there for a minute. Okay, you know the drill. We are going to, before we go, let me move the camera. Here we go. Let's see. Those of you who were here for Thursday's fiasco packing stream, what you saw was here packing, and now this is the current stock of our mulberry fiber. Let me get the other window out of the way here. One sec. Hang on. Where am I? Let's take it out of the way. Okay, there is the fiber upstairs here. It used to be all the way through this area, and I'm told, based on the bookkeeping, that it was 75 kilograms before we started taking from it. And we took 10.2 kilos, sent it to her a couple of months ago, back in November, December, and now we have taken exactly, and weighed to the gram, we have taken exactly 20 more kilograms. So 30 has gone from the original 70.5. Okay, let me put that camera back up. Okay, here's the drill. We're going to move. The main, for those of you who don't know what's going on, I'm going to move to the next room where we hang this up. I can't move it all in one piece. So step one, the main camera is going down. Carry that through into the next room. The microphone should stay active throughout the whole procedure here. Okay, the camera is set up and plugged in. The video cable Okay, let's take this thing through. We're not on a Wi-Fi connection here, we're actually wired. I'm trailing behind me on the floor here an Ethernet cable. The Wi-Fi up here on the 3rd floor is not what it could be. So we hardwire this. The camera is now going back in. Set the chat font size large so that I can see it from a distance. Here we go, pull that a bit closer. And let me go and get the paper. Okay, let's get the camera set. Maybe move back a bit. Is that a good location? We're going to hang the paper up in the corner there, but the lens is not wide enough to see everything all at the same time. Good to go. All right, thank you. We have 40 sheets here. They're going to go in pairs, so I need 20 clips. We're not going to use the full 3 range. That's too wide. 2 will be enough. The sheets are now back to back. And away we go. Let's roll. And it's a bit difficult for me to see the chat. I can see it, but if there's something that you really do want me to take note of, maybe type it in caps so I can get a glimpse of what's going on. Maybe I can pull the computer a bit closer. Can we try that without blowing things up? Yeah, that helps actually. Yeah. You're on camera. Block washing, I think. Okay, the stream's coming up. This is Saturday. The next stream is Monday morning. There's 2 things it could be. It might be color separation work on the third print in this year's series. I'm expecting any minute now the key block to come back to me from Kawasaki-san in Kobe. Our carver Noriko Kawasaki, she's been working on that key block now for about 10 days. And it should be finished any time. And while she's got the key block, I've been trying to figure out color separations for the third print in the series. I can tease the title. It might be Dagashiya. And as soon as she's finished the key block, she will send it back to me, and I have to print from it and then work out color separations. And that might be happening Monday. If I get the email from her today saying that she's sending it today, I'll get it tomorrow, and Monday morning we'll be doing that work. If that email doesn't come from her today, then no, that work will be happening on the Thursday stream. So we are going to see in a few days a color separation process. It might be Monday, it might be Thursday. If she doesn't send me that block today, then Monday's stream might be, I apologize, it might be a repetition of today. It might be more sizing. We'll see. One of those two things will be happening. Yes, I'm not sure what title to use on the print itself, whether we put the Japanese word Dagashiya or whether we call the print the candy store. I don't know. The designers suggested that we use the Japanese word, but I don't know if it's, a lot of people who are collecting this series don't actually, speak Japanese, so I'm not sure. Teaching opportunity, yeah. Yeah, somebody's got it. There will be accompanying text, so yes. So maybe we'll do it this way. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, so. Don't know if you can see the paper here now. It's really, translucent. It's moist but not wet. I don't have a third hand to be able to show you, to hold it up. Beautifully soft and translucent, extremely delicate right now. If I twisted it or dropped it or banged it, any creases would be completely permanent. It's extremely delicate. It's funny, it's both. It's also very, very strong, but this is its most sensitive, delicate moment. People talk about the title on the print, and at the moment you receive it and when you're still subscribing to it is one thing. But remember, these prints are going to last for 200 years more. So I'm always trying to keep that factor in mind, that every print that we make these days and we mail it out, at the moment it's part of a set and it's there and it's being looked at, people who understand what it is. But X years in the future, when the person who bought it is long dead, those prints are not going to carry the baggage. They will be looked at just as individual sheets of paper. I'm sure the historical record will be there. People will be able to look it up, the same as we can look up information on an old Hiroshige print now. The future Google, whatever, will know what's going on. That sheet of paper has to carry information to the future. 200 years, you know. This stuff, this piece of paper right here, if it doesn't run into an earthquake or a flood or a fire, this sheet of paper is going to get rubbed with black and blue and pink pigment, and 200 plus years from now, someone's going to be looking at that print and enjoying it. Or they're going to dig it out of the rubble of civilization and burn it on their campfire to keep warm. I don't know. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the ultimate value of my prints. In the post-apocalyptic chaos, they will be burnable to keep people warm. Is that the ultimate value that I'm bringing to society? Too bad they're not edible. Where's it all going? I don't know. 200 years from now, when your great wave number comes up. So it's too bad we weren't numbering them. You know, it would have been fun if we had numbered those, not as a limited edition, but if we had numbered them going up. In retrospect, it would have been a fun thing to do, but I had no idea. The great waves we've produced, the first couple of hundred were numbered, the ones that were part of the Kickstarter campaign. We got number 1, somebody got number 2, number 3, number 4, and they went up. I forget what it topped out at, 260 or something. I don't remember, I'm sorry. But then once the Kickstarter campaign was delivered, we didn't number them. It just became a normal item in our catalog. Post-apocalyptic toilet paper. I don't know. You sure know how to hurt a guy. I guess I started it, didn't I? I started it. Deserve what I get. All right, here we are. There's the last pair. I didn't count, actually. Did we actually have 40? Did it turn out correct? I don't know. Okay, there you go. They're sealed in there, not really sealed. They're closed off in there. We have a little, I don't know, what do you call it? The thing that makes moisture into the air. I forget the name of it. Not a dehumidifier, the opposite of a dehumidifier. Humidifier. I'll turn that on and it will help. I'll close the doors, and this paper will dry over the course of today, and we want it to dry slowly. Today it's really, really dry in here, so we want it to dry slowly, so I will put on the humidifier. Okay, that's it. We're done. Thank you. It's 9:30 exactly. Thank you very much, gang. My apologies again for the repetitious nature of this work. Now, you know, at the heart of it, our work is repetitious, and it's not going to be easy for me to always bring new, interesting content. The next few weeks especially, as I said, there's going to be a lot of sizing over the next few weeks. Anyway, Monday might be color separations, Thursday might be color separations. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I've got to get downstairs to help open the shop and get busy with my paperwork list, stuff that doesn't really stream well. Computer, video editing, etc., etc. Thank you very much. See you next time. 3, 2, oh, should we do let's do the thing. Let's do the thing. Out. I love this so much. Thanks so much, guys. See you later. I'm like, seaweed. Where am I? 3, 2, 1, down we go.